So today, we're playing the Reaper, and we've got a Dark Ritual build, featuring a Bloodthorne and a Nice Dragon. And we are going to be stacking up some debuffs like colds while lifestealing from our opponents, all the while stacking up our crits with that Leaf Badge to give us that big damage. But hey, check this run out and let me know what you think of this build. Okay, let's go and jump some rank games with the Reaper and see what we can do today. So we're starting off with a Storage Coffin, we do have our Walrus Tusk, and we do have Chipped Emeralds. So first of all, we're going to grab a Frying Pan, let's grab a Whetstone, let's roll once. We definitely want to grab this Wooden Sword. Now, do we actually want a regen from the Emerald, or do we want a little bit of chance to inflict some poison? I think I want a chance to inflict some poison. We're going to move a Frying Pan in this position so we can actually add in this Frying Pan. And it's going to be a round one. I'm going to save our golds. Let's keep it going. This should be fantastic. We should have a lot of DPS between our Frying Pan and our Wooden Sword. We should be able to inflict a good bit of poison from our Storage Coffin. But actually, we barely scraped by. Holy moly, was that way too close. Just pausing the video here very quickly, just to ask you to subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks. Now let's get back to the video. For comfort. Now I do actually want to grab the broom, but for this round, I'm going to grab a stamina sack. I'm going to grab a second banana. And we are going to change ourselves to be more like this, so we have our food items in our Storage Coffin along with a Frying Pan. I'm going to save our 2 gold. I'm going to move on. And we'll see how this goes. Now this opponent is rocking some armor, so they are going to be negating some of our buffs. They resist 3. And they have a crap ton of effective HP with that block. And they're going to be inflicting some poison on us. But so far, we are definitely able to stack up a lot more poison thanks to our Storage Coffin. So we should have the advantage and overall smashing. Now that is a Stone Badge, which definitely could be kind of interesting. It's a lot of block, but I'm not going to take it. I'm going to take a broom this round. Let's grab a garlic. Let's roll looking for some storage. I still want to find a Whetstone, which will be pretty good too. But I'm going to reserve this on the Infant Amulet. I'm going to roll once. That's a pair of gloves, and I actually want to go for a Falcon Blade type setup. Potentially. We'll have to move on. Now this opponent is looking quite scary because with that spear they're going to be doing lots of damage. And with the Rainbow Badge, they're going to get one of every buff. Which means they're going to get increased damage, they're going to get some Vampirism, which we immediately took. And actually smashing. Taking that one Vampirism was super awesome. And we do have a choice to make, and honestly Mushroom Farm here is pretty garbage. We don't start off like Garrick since we took the sack of surprises at the very beginning. Which is pretty bad. Spinning for Dummies, we don't have a crafted weapon just yet, but that could be kind of awesome. I think I'm still going to grab it, because it does give us our Whetstone, which does give us our Hero Sword. Which means we can grab the gloves, we can get some crit chance with that Leaf Badge, and we can get access to the Ranger's items. Which means we could get the crit with Staff, which would be kind of awesome. Well, first of all, I'm going to grab the Undead Infant Amulet. It's Amulet of Wilds, which is pretty awesome. I'm going to sell the Frying Pan for now. I'm going to be adding in our broom for now. Which means I'm going to have to take the storage. We'll reserve Leaf Badge for now. And also the gloves. I'm going to leave behind the Whetstone just for now. But let's move on with this. And we'll see how this goes. So with a broom in, we should be able to inflict some blinds along with that poison, which should be pretty good overall. This opponent is going to have a lot of damage with that Burning Torch. And with that Gooberts, they're going to have a lot of healing, especially with Slime Time. But smashing. That is really fantastic for us. We got our Hero Sword, which is amazing. We do want to move this up. We're going to be taking this Leaf Badge, which is going to be scaling up our luck and crit chance also. I do want to grab the gloves and craft up, not Claws Attack, with that Falcon Blade. We are going to have a target our Leaf Badge along with a banana. I'm going to roll once, and that's Falcon Blade, which is straight up fantastic. Now Toad on sale is crazy good too. So that's exactly what we're going to take. Now this opponent is looking, honestly, super scary again with another spear. Spears do lots of damage, as you can see. Especially with that eye lamp. So unfortunately, we're going to end up getting turbo smashed. Now I'm going to switch our Hero Sword to this position because we're going to be grabbing this. Crafting up that Falcon Blade. I'm going to grab that Toad, which does mean you can't grab our storage. Which we're going to sell our Walrus Tusk in favor of actually grabbing a Stamina Sack for now. And we're going to have Amber Wells targeted Toad, but honestly, that's not going to matter too much. We could actually have a Toad in this position because this actually gives us some buffs. It is very slow, and we will never get to that 10 buffs as of right now. But we'll keep it going like this, and we'll see. Now our opponent is running that mushroom farm, but they're going to be using it to craft up poison goobards. So after that, their mushroom farm is not going to be providing any value to them. But again, they're going to have tons of life. We're stacking up the poison and smashing. We got a Falcon Blade, which is going to be pretty darn good for us. And we do have a couple of options here. I would like to grab a heroic potion, potentially. Unstable Recombobulator would be nice to just recombobulate itself. We could get a mana orb for a staff, which would be kind of awesome. We could grab a wooden sword to potentially go for hardwood skill. Or we could try to craft up some ruby chunks. Ruby chunks with crit chance does sound kind of amazing. I'm going to take the dragon egg for now, since we have 4 lives and since we got our Falcon Blade. Which does mean I'm just going to grab the wooden sword for now. And I'm going to move on. Now we could take that rogue potion and go for a Excalibur type build also, but let's keep it this way for now. We are taking a big risk crafting up this dragon, and unfortunately, as you can see, that is a big risk. Now we do have a choice to make, and honestly I'm thinking about going with Nocturnal Locklifter. Crit chance with Nocturnal Locklifter with a Falcon Blade should be awesome, especially with some dragons. That is going to be really, really awesome for us. And speaking of awesome, that is a Hunger Blade, which I'm going to have to take over the broom for now, which I'm going to be taking this fanny pack for now also. I do actually want to reserve this flute too. I'll be back in a second while I sort our inventory out. I am going to move on with this setup. This should be much, much better for us. And we're going to see. Now we don't have any way to scale up Vampirism right now until we get some regen. But we do start off with 5 Vampirism, which is pretty good overall. Which means we should have tons of healing. This opponent is going to be stacking up a lot of max life and a lot of buffs with that cheese goobards. And they are going to be stunning us with that brass knuckles. So this could be quite scary. And it's going to be super close. And unfortunately, we are going to end up losing. But once we get a dragon, we should be in a pretty good spot. That's for sure. Now let's take our flute. Let's roll once. And that is Bloodthorne, which I'm genuinely thinking we're going to have to take, unfortunately. I was really hoping to craft up crit with staff, but I think we're going to have to leave it for now. I'm going to sell our wooden sword because I definitely need some regeneration for our Hunger Blade. Now, once we craft up Bloodthorne, especially with the spinning for dummies, we should be in a really, really awesome spot. The problem is, right now it's going to be eating up a lot of stamina by adding in a Turnip along with a Hunger Blade, so we could be in big, big trouble. And especially if our opponent does have that moon armor, that's going to be a lot of block for him. With Time Dilator, it's actually going to work in our favor because it doesn't actually eat up as much stamina with all our weapons. So overall, smashing for us. Now, Bloodthorne is again going to be super fantastic for us. Now we do have a choice to make. Now, Dark Ritual, even though it does give us 10 Vampirism, it doesn't actually count as a vampiric item, which would be awesome for Nocturnal Locklifter. But I still think we're going to grab it out of the other 2 options. Between stones, we don't have stone golems, and I don't want to take Shielded Ass right now. Let's take Dark Ritual. Now, the other Hunger Blade would have been awesome, especially with a Blood Goobert. We're not going to take it. I'm actually going to grab a set of blueberries for now. Let's roll once. That is Prismatic Orb. And we definitely want to grab a deck of cards. Now we could settle for an Ice Dragon, but I'd much prefer going for Ruby Chunk. Ruby Chunk does stack up a lot of heat for us versus Ice Dragon, which gives us a ton of block and has the chance to inflict frost. Well, let's go ahead and buy our tiny little storage for now, so we can actually add this back down here. And I think we're actually going to craft up the Ice Dragon. And we're also going to put a flute in this position, which should be pretty good. It's going to help with our stamina and also be scaling up our luck also. But we'll see. Can we deal with this Falcon Blade Mr. Struggles? They're going to be reducing our healing with that Cap Discomforts. But so far, this is looking a hell of a lot better. Smashing even. And with our Ice Dragon, and then Ruby Chunk shows up. Holy moly, that's super unfair. It is what it is though. We're going to take it and then potentially craft up a Ruby Chunk if you find another Dragon Egg. But first of all, we definitely need that Prismatic Orb because that is going to be 2 Vampirism. It also counts as a vampire item for Nocturnal Locklifter, and it's going to be a dark item for a Dark Ritual. Now this should be fantastic overall. Now let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and get our Hollow Fire Lizard in the next rounds. And we'll see. Now our opponent is also rocking Bloodthorne, but they're going to be trying to stack up that Poison Ivy. And so far, this is looking pretty darn good. Smashing even. And that's crit chance. Crit chance on this whole setup is just going to be straight up nuts. So we're going to grab storage. We're going to have to grab the crit chance. We're going to slot in this position for now as we take our Hollow Fire Lizard. Now we are going to have to change the whole setup around so we can get that crit chance on our Acorn Collar on all our weapons. That should be awesome. Now we could also have our Spinning for Dummies target, or Ice Dragon, but it would require us to move our Acorn Collar, and we do want a stamina reduction on basically Bloodthorne with our Falcon Blade. So we're going to leave it like this. Let's go ahead and move on. And we'll have to see how we're going to face up again in Excalibur, Mr. Struggles, who's going to be stealing our buffs. And so far, it's already over. This is looking pretty good. We don't even proc our Dark Ritual. We definitely want a Pineapple. Mana Orb could be kind of nice too, because if we do stack up a lot of mana, we could end up stacking some luck. But I don't think we actually want to grab it. We want to grab the Pineapple. We actually want to grab a Carrot. We're going to roll once. I'm going to sell this little green gemstone and the garlic so we can actually grab the stamina sack. Because we definitely want to add in our Pineapple. We're also going to move our Toad into this position for now, because we just want to add in our Carrot in here. But let's keep moving. Now this Toad is going to be scaling up our luck along with the flutes. So we should be able to scale up our crit chance pretty well. Now we do start off with 10% crit chance since we start off with 2 luck. From the deck of cards, and this is looking super awesome. Now, we did survive 3 lives left. We managed to get a 50 DPS, which is pretty good between our Bloodthorne, Ice Dragon, and Falcon Blade. As for heals, a 45 healing per second, thanks to Nocturnal Locklifter. And pretty much non-existent block. So crit chance on Nocturnal Locklifter. I definitely think we can actually make this a lot better. Now, speaking of a lot better, we definitely going to have to take a Bloody Amulet, because that is going to be for our Nocturnal Locklifter. Out of all these options, I'm going to roll once. Now, another Toad would be kind of nice, but I'm not going to take it for now. And unfortunately, we might actually have to end up losing a banana for now. We might actually want a Tar Container. I definitely want some storage and another Hollow Fire Lizard, all pretty darn nice. So I am just going to continue on for now. Adding in this Bloody Amulet does give us more Vampirism, and it will increase our healing efficiency on our Dragon, on our Falcon Blade, and on our Bloodthorne. Now this shield is going to be eating up our stamina, which means we probably should have kept a banana. But overall, this is just smashing it in general. Let's grab our potion bolts, which does mean we can grab our heart container, and we definitely want to add that in. We're still going to keep our deck of cards. I'm going to roll once, twice even, and we definitely want in our stamina sack. But unfortunately, I did want to craft up a ruby chunk, and I don't think we're going to be able to anymore. We'll see. This bond is going to be stacking up a lot of poison, a lot of max life, but they are scaling builds, and we do a lot of damage, which is just pretty awesome. As for now, our DPS is 57, heals 52. We managed to deal 450 damage in 8 seconds, which is pretty darn good. Now, speaking of pretty darn good, that is Prismatic Orb, which we're definitely going to have to take. Now, I actually want to grab a White Ace Blue Dragon too, because that is going to be some frost for Ice Dragon to give us that block. And it's also going to slow down our opponent pretty darn good. But we are going to have to move on. Our Dark Ritual should be pretty good in this spot. Now it is still going to take some time to actually activate. And honestly, we're not even getting that activation yet. But once we do get a ton of Vampirism and stack up a lot of debuffs. Hoping to stack up some Cold or some Blind. But let's keep it going for now. Now this bond is looking scary because they're going to reduce their healing with all those Amethysts. It's also going to have a lot of block. And they're going to have a lot of damage. And so far, it's looking pretty scary. They do have a lot of power, and unfortunately, those power ups, the Amethyst Steel with the Stoned, just straight up nuts, to be honest. And all that damage reduction with those Dragon Scalambers and reducing our healing. So our opponent did counter significantly. They had a 55 DPS, even though we had a 60 DPS. Our heals are drastically reduced. And actually, if you don't know, Wisdom Pumps actually cleanse a lot of frost as well. So Ice Dragon, literally the worst dragon. We get that point, unfortunately. So we're going to grab our Stamina Sack. We're going to grab our White Ace Blue Dragon. We're going to grab our Hollow Fire Lizard. We're going to roll once. That's also Torn Bloom, which would be kind of awesome too. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to roll once more, and honestly, I might actually end up taking this Pineapple. I'm actually going to sell a banana so we can actually take this fanny pack. and just increase the speed of our luck generation along with our Ice Dragon's attack speed. And I'm actually going to have a Toad in this position to be targeting our Pineapple along with our Flutes, along with a Bloodthorne, which should be awesome. We do move our deck of cards like so we can still get our Hollow Fire Lizard with a White Eye Blue Dragon, and we did move all our food items down into this position, which should be pretty good overall. And we are going to move on. I'm going to grab a Pineapple, because the more spikes we do stack up, the more Bloodthorne deals more damage, especially with our Amulet of Wilds. Now this could be quite scary because our opponent is going to be reflecting a lot of debuffs on us. So any frost that we do stack up is going to be reflected at us. We are dealing that big damage, and that's massive damage. And so far this is looking pretty darn good. 128 crit. Because our Bloodthorne is dealing massive damage with that Dark Ritual. Giving us a ton of Vampirism, and we stacked up a lot of spikes. And overall amazing. So our DPS is shot up to 75 DPS, which is pretty decent overall. Our heals is 75 healing per second. And then we actually managed to get some block on top of it too. So overall, not too bad. We did stack up quite a lot of buffs. And let's keep it going for now. Now I'd actually like to grab this Dark Slotus to removing a lot of buffs. It's not insane or anything like that, but it would be nice to grab the Pineapple along with the Dark Slotus, because removing opponent's buffs is going to be super powerful. So I think we're going to grab our Pineapple. We can't exactly fit it in for now. I'm going to reserve the Dark Slotus as we roll once. And that is an Acorn Collar, which makes our luck stacking not as strong, but with the amount of healing that we do have, we don't exactly need a second Acorn Collar. I'm going to grab the storage for now, which does mean we can actually add in our Pineapple once again. 2 Pineapples should be fantastic. So this is it. This is going to be our final setup. Dark Ritual, Bloodthorne, Falcon Blade, Ice Dragon. Just overall pretty awesome. We do lots of damage, and adding crit chance to the whole setup is just straight up nuts. For sure. It basically doubles all our damage. And we are going to see. Now we did move our heart container around so we get that little bit increased healing efficiency, which we probably should have done earlier. For sure, because that is literally going to be an extra 8% healing efficiency. And our Toad is going to be targeting our heart container along with our Pineapple along with a Bloodthorne. Now Dark Slotus would have been nice to add in, but unfortunately we just can't take it for now. We do have 2 gold left. I'm going to unreserve it. Roll once. Another Toad is amazing. Also eye lamps on the Falcon Blade. Pretty crazy. We probably should be taking them, but it is what it is. And that's it. Now Doom Cap would have been nice to add too, especially going up against some healing builds, something like this Excalibur. They're going to be stacking up a lot of cheese, so we could be in big trouble here. Now this should be a long fight, and we'll see. They're going to be stacking up a lot of max life, but we have a crazy amount of damage. We could end up stopping them before they even start scaling. Once they get into that battle rage, they're going to be turbo stacking that life, but we are continuously scaling up our damage, and the Dark Ritual just adds too much Vampirism. And that Bloodthorne is dealing massive damage. We ended up dealing 1400 damage in 13 seconds with 106 DPS between a 50 DPS Bloodthorne. Spike's dealing a lot of damage too. Ice Dragon, Falcon Blade. Awesome. As for heals, we managed to get 116 healing per second, which is pretty darn good. The vast majority of it come from Nocturnal Locklifter, and a lot of it come from that Vampirism. And don't forget good old Toad. And then on top of it, just about 100 block overall. But yeah, our opponent actually managed to get a 50 DPS between that Mana Thirst and Excalibur. They were stacking up a lot of buffs. They had a 40 healing per second, and then they also had a 29 max health gain per second. So 69 heals per second. On top of it, they managed to get 11 block per second. So our opponent was super defensive, and also they did have damage mitigation with that duffel bag. But overall, between our Dark Ritual and our Ice Dragon, we were able to inflict a lot of debuffs, especially that cold decreasing their activation speed. But anyways, we did survive with 3 lives left. Let's go and see just how much rank points we managed to get. Plus 12 ranks up quite a bit. I'm going to leave it for now. Just want to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And I hope to see you look up for the next one. See you next time.